Good evening, everyone. My name is Nadya Salsabila. I am an English major from the second semester with a presentation about great myth of psychology, which is multiple choice exams are inferior to other exam formats. We're starting off with the list of continents that we will discuss in the presentation today. Number 1 is the introduction. Number 2 is the efficiency trap. Number 3 is when efficiency distorts education. Number 4 is the critical thinking gap. 5 is a balanced future. And lastly, number 6 is the closing or conclusion to the presentation. First of all, multiple base choices. Multiple choice tests are one of the most malign educational tools in existence. Instructors often criticize multiple choice tests based primarily on the assumption that such tests can only assess superficial knowledge and therefore other forms of examination are better measures of deeper and more meaningful student learning. Students sometimes complain that multiple choice tests are tricky, even going as far as to claim a multiple choice learning disability. Moreover, it is very easy to identify critics who claim that multiple choice tests are, quote unquote, nearly always worthless. The key to evaluating such claims is to determine whether multiple choice tests assess fundamental different forms of knowledge than tests in other formats as well. Hundreds of studies concerning multiple choice tests have been conducted over nearly a century. These studies vary widely in terms of both research methodology, and the specific subject matter being tested. The efficiency trap. Since the 1920s, testing becoming more organized and quote unquote professional. Schools and institutions started using standardized tests, which meant everyone answered the same kinds of questions in the same format. This test could be given to many people at once and later graded quickly by machines like Scatron sheets. This made testing faster, cheaper, and seem more fair because every student was judged using the same system. That was very useful for big schools, exams, and government systems. Although there are cons to this method, because these tests are too easy to manage, some people may start caring more about convenience than about whether the test truly measures deep learning. Instead of designing assessments that let students show understanding, creativity, reasoning, or real skill, schools may choose tests that are simply easier to give and grade. There are some key points about the efficiency trap that are overused. Number 1 being easy to grade but limited in meaning. Multiple choice exams can be marked quickly by machines or answer keys, but they often only show whether a student picked the right answer, not whether they truly understand the topic. That's why sometimes it's really easy for people to cheat on exams when it comes to multiple choice based. Number 2, convenience becomes the priority. Because multiple choice tests are easier to organize, schools may choose them over essays, projects, oral exams, or practical tasks. The system start valuing what is easy to manage instead of what is educationally richer. Lastly, limits student expression. Students cannot explain their reasoning, show their writing skills, or demonstrate how they reach an answer. A student might understand the material but still choose the wrong option because of wording or confusion. When efficiency distorts education. Because standardized tests are easy to grade, schools often focus too much on preparing students for those tests. This can make teachers, quote unquote, teach to the test, meaning lessons become centered on the kinds of questions that will appear in the exam. As a result, students may only study facts that are easy to measure instead of learning deeper skills like analyzing, interpreting, creating ideas, or solving complex problems. Curriculum narrowing means students learn less variety. Teachers may skip creative projects, discussions, or interdisciplinary lessons because those things are harder to test. Assessment driven instruction means teaching is shaped by the test format. For example, students practice multiple choice questions instead of learning how to explain their thinking or apply ideas in real life. Student motivation shifts means students may stop focusing on curiosity and understanding. Instead, they focus mainly on getting a high score. The critical thinking gap. Deep learning requires students to connect ideas, make judgments, and think originally. Multiple choice questions are not the best way to measure these skills because they do not allow students to fully explain their reasoning, show creativity, or express complex ideas. Skills like solving difficult problems, writing persuasively, and creating original work need open ended tasks such as essay, projects, presentation, or discussions. These types of assessments show how students think, not just which answer they choose. Step 1. Pose complex tasks. Give students problems that are not too easy or too straightforward. The problem should make them think, understand the situation, and choose the best way to solve it. Step 2. Make thinking visible. Ask students to show how they think, not just their final answer. This can be done through drafts, notes, explanation, annotations, or step-by-step reasoning. Lastly, evaluate criteria. Use rubric rubrics. Sorry, hold on. Let me. Yeah, I was right. Use rubrics that judge more than just whether the answer is correct. The assessment should also value clear ideas, originality, strong reasoning, and the ability to apply knowledge in new situations. Oh. A balanced future. The solution is not to completely reject multiple choice tests, but to combine them with more meaningful assessments. Multiple choice questions can be useful for checking basic knowledge, but they should not be the only way students are assessed. If schools want students to develop creativity, critical thinking, and the ability to apply knowledge, then assessments must directly measure those skills through essays, projects, presentation, discussion, or problem solving tasks. In the end, education systems should focus more on meaningful learning than on tests that are only easy to grade. Call to action. Measure what matters. Schools should stop putting grading convenience above learning quality. While efficient tests can still be useful, assessment systems should focus more on showing real evidence of student thinking. This can include portfolios, performance, projects, and complex tasks that allow students to demonstrate creativity, reasoning, and problem solving skills. Policy makers, educators, and institutions should invest in better assessment design, teacher training, and fair rubrics so students are judged by their ability to think, create, and apply knowledge in real life, not just by how well they answer multiple choice questions. In conclusion, this presentation shows that multiple choice items allow instructors to assess student knowledge of broad content domains in a short period of time. Although open-ended test formats appear to permit instructors to assess higher cognitive process and greater depth of content knowledge, evidence is sparse that typical free response tests achieve such objectives, or that open-ended and multiple choice tests consistently assess different things. Tests are tools, and, as is always the case, choosing the right tool depends on an accurate assessment of the specific objective one wishes to achieve. And that is all for my presentation about multiple choice exams are inferior to other exam formats, which can be found in the book of Great Myth of Psychology. This is Nadya Salsabila. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I am sorry if I got some of the words pronunciation wrong, but I hope you can learn something from this presentation, all of you from home or anywhere at all. With this, I will close the presentation and video with Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night.